not being put into the proper historical context when you're measuring it. They've created this destitution. So we're up to 1965, Civil Rights Acts. You know, black people in the United States suddenly become citizens and can theoretically move freely through the country. But we know that that's not what happened, because the Civil Rights Acts were signed in 1965, Martin Luther King was assassinated in 68, Malcolm X 65, and so on and so forth. Medgar Evers, they all were assassinated right after that. Then the Black Panther Party were ran down on right after that. So all the way up to 1975, we had the agents of repression going extremely hard to eradicate black movements for justice. So here we are at 1975. And then in 1975, we get this divestment and redlining situation. And we get white populations moving out of inner cities to undermine the Civil Rights Acts. You know, so we had this integration movement. Okay, we're going to do this integration thing so that the wealth can be distributed a little more equally. The bankers, politicians found loopholes in it. And they created completely new, self-sustaining communities outside of the inner cities that white people fled to. They call it white flight, suburban sprawl, or whatever you want to call it. And it wasn't white people went out, they built all these new homes, new developments, all the businesses relocated out to these areas. The inner cities were redlined and left to die. They called them sacrifice zones. You can Google that. What is a sacrifice zone? In this type of paradigm, you have deprivation at an all-time high, and people are like, okay, well, when we look at it today, we look at these nice neighborhoods, these nice gated communities that you see predominantly white people living in these days, and a lot of people like, well, they work hard. If you work hard, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but that's not what happened. We know that's not what happened. There was a time when this exodus out of the inner city by white people was fueled by the government, by FHA loans that were white only loans that subsidized the purchasing of houses for white people in the suburbs. And they couldn't get the loans if they wanted to remain in the inner cities. So the loans were only available to white people, and only white people who wanted to move out of the inner city, which was basically all the white people, So they left with the government assistance, welfare, basically. But today, what they created, they act as if they don't know how East New York became a ghetto. They act like they don't know how Trenton, New Jersey became a ghetto, how Camden, New Jersey became a ghetto, how so many areas in Chicago became ghettos.